Hey, welcome everyone to this podcast we have no name for because we're authors and we hate naming stuff. We've got Hunter Mythos who's here today, and I'm joined by my co-host, I guess, Andrew Gibbler.
Did you say I guess? That's crazy.
Well, if you're there, if you're not alive, if
you're late one time.
Starbucks.
You're late one time on accident.
Hey, it was 10:01. It was 10:01 when you showed up here. It's 1 minute past. That's late.
What were you gonna say, Hunter?
I was gonna say you didn't know it, but before you showed up, Chatfield decided I might be replacing you. You were.
Is that what's happening? Too venture? Dude,
if you were here earlier, you would. It would have happened.
No. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you what happens here. Is when you schedule to join the podcast, it only emails Michael, and then I have to go and ask Michael, "Hey, man, is anybody coming to the podcast?" And he'll be like, "Oh shoot, yeah, sorry." And one of those just didn't come to me. I don't know. So I'm showing up for our podcast at 11, and Michael's blowing me up like, "Where are you?" Like we started at 10, and I'm like, "Huh?" And no email, nothing. Just "Oh, cool."
And he's just over there, all Oliver Twist. Just give me a date, sir.
Yeah,
just one more date,
just one, please.
Figure it
out. Honestly, Hunter, take my spot. Have fun with the logistical nightmare.
No. I'm not the one that's as famous as you, bro. I'm just a guy in the background at this point. Just
I don't know, man. You sell a lot of books, so
it's whatever. All I write is just stuff with a Florida guy doing insane things,
So a Florida guy.
Florida guy.
Florida man.
You're born and raised Florida, right?
Yup. 305
represent. All right. So Florida, that's its own adventure. Then you went to the Marines, and now you're in Colombia. This sounds like adventure time.
I have done so many adventures that I have forgotten most of it.
But that's not forgotten most of it. That's you didn't want to tell the sergeant what you actually went and did on leave.
Listen, I've been present for a Hunter adventure or two. I know how they go.
It wasn't a sergeant. It was my captain and lieutenant, and actually two other sergeants.
This does not. This sounds either great or really bad.
Walk into a bar.
Yeah.
There were just things in Japan, and I want to do my own thing, so the less they know, the better. And I came back on time.
Hey, if you come back on time and the police aren't following, fair enough,
There was always a rule was if you would not want your mother to see this in a newspaper, don't do it. And it's a pretty good rule.
It's a pretty good rule.
Yeah, it's one I've abided by for the rest of my life.
I don't think that's true, but that's fine.
Okay, cool. If you do something, just make sure it's not in the newspaper or burn down the newspaper company. I don't know.
That's very much the berserker way of doing stuff.
Control the media outlet, dude. Just make sure everybody understands that's not getting out there.
Seize the means of news.
Exactly.
Bro went meta immediately. Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, so instead of me changing my actions, let's change the world so my actions are not repeated to others. Let's do
it. Considered propaganda.
Has anyone ever read 1984?
We're 3 minutes into this podcast, by the way. This is going to be unhinged.
Really admire how they did things in 1984. It must be a manual for life, yo. You know what it is? It's a self-help book before self-help books got popular.
This is like someone who reads Dune and is like, you know what we need is one really powerful figure who comes to save us. That's what my takeaway from Dune.
Exactly. Is it Dune about Superman?
Yeah, how we need one. It's just a podcast where we misinterpret every great work of literature fiction. It's Rage Bait the podcast.
Oh my, yeah. Oh,
I just really liked how he played with themes of Paul Atreides was really coming to save them. People need Paul Atreides. Man.
Exactly.
You imagine the comments, dude.
Paul Atreides is here for the people.
Yeah.
Not Paul Atreides.
Caesar was never wrong.
Yeah.
Caesar, for my boy Caesar.
Dungeon Crawler Call is about how capitalism creates great entertainment, actually. If you
Exactly.
How that we should abide by the rules of society and not. Yeah.
Why are they complaining?
Yeah.
They're on TV. There's no complaining.
I actually love that as a.
That's. It's. I feel like there's just someone coming in, just like everything's okay. Just.
Yep.
Do not look behind the curtain. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, yeah.
Wizard of Oz was about how you should just accept the circumstances that you're in.
Yeah. You shouldn't try to change things. You shouldn't look too deep into things. Yeah. Just accept it.
Just accept it. Everything is as it appears. That is.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is tickling me so much, but it is.
That's just because you have me here.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Hunter is a bringer of chaos, 100%.
All the time. Sometimes too much.
Well, that's true. So you're in. How long are you going to be in Colombia?
I think I'm going to hang around for 3 months right now. I'm just, this is my first time going fully nomad. Like, fully. Unless you count the states a little bit. But I don't really count it.
But I feel like full nomad is leaving your country.
Yeah. Well, I did keep a backup plan. My address is still with my family's place, so
sure,
I pay Florida taxes.
Which are none?
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the point.
Sorry, California's having a problem over here.
I was like, wait a second.
Exactly.
He's feeling someone reaching from behind. And he's like, what's that in my wallet? Oh, nothing.
What's better than 0, 0, 0?
Listen, it's fine.
But yeah, man. I decided I was supposed to go to the DR. I was supposed to go to the Dominican Republic, but they had some stupid thing going on with the e-ticket, and it was like collapsing on me. So I was like, I'm just gonna go straight to Colombia. And everyone's like, oh my God, Hunter, you're going to Colombia. Have you seen Narcos?
God, yeah.
What if they kidnapped you? What if they bomb you? What if this? I was like, I had like a bunch of people like tell me, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that. You can't even drink their water. The first night I drank from the tap water, and it was some of the best tap water I ever drank. And that's how I knew.
Did you ask anyone, or did you just do it?
Dude, of course I asked.
Just listen. It would be the most marine thing I've ever heard. Yeah, Google, great. Yeah.
And Google was like, bro, this water's better than LA.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's. Hold on. Those are two different conversations.
I was like, say less, Google. And I just drank it, bro. And I was like, this is some of the best water I've drank in a long time. This is better than Florida's.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, and compared to some of the water that you get when you're like serving, and you're like, "Ooh, I can taste the gasoline that was in this can before." Because once you use it for gas, you should never use it for water, and then some dickhead does, and you're like, that's awful.
You can taste the methylene.
I love ethanol in my water.
Yeah. So 3 months in Colombia, and then are you coming back to the States for the con circuit this year, or are you just gone?
No, I'm coming back. I'm gonna be back and forth. Because it's work. I mean, I'm taking a break. Well, technically, reading The Wandering Inn is it's like double the work, bro.
My job is now reading The Wandering Inn.
It feels like it's at 80. It's 80 hours of work reading The Wandering Inn and being like, God damn.
Dude, it's more than that.
Wait, are you just in Colombia, like sitting in coffee shops reading The Wandering Inn? Is that all you're doing right now?
I put out a book the other day.
So then you're not taking a break. What is it?
When did you write that book, Hunter? Did you write that book while you were in the States?
It started in the States. It finished in Colombia.
How many days did you write it in Colombia?
I've been here for a month. I won't lie. My sister told me, like, hey, Henry, maybe we should wait a month and finish that book, right? And I was like, no, I got it. I might have cut it. I might have had to cut it a little short as soon as I made it to Colombia. And now I have no deadlines, no pre-orders. I have decided this year it's Hunter's chill year,
Oh,
and that's why I'm in coffee shops,
reading the Wandering In.
reading the Wander In, or looking at the beautiful, beautiful scenery. The scenery will walk by.
It's Colombia is a very fun place, and Medellin is awesome. Especially, it's one of the best nomad cities in the world, I think, right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's
yeah.
amazing. The views. I loved I mean, chat. We could both talk about it, but I love how there's these mountains all around you, and when it rains, it's just mist and water, and the temperature floats between. Sometimes it get as low as 60, but never higher than 85. It's always in the middle.
Very nice.
It's quite comfortable. Might get a little humid during the day after like a rain shower, but it gets cool at night, man. It's the city of eternal spring for a reason.
That's very nice. That is very nice. Very, because it's probably very tropical, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, jungles and mountains, man, and you're 5,000 feet above the sea level, so around Denver height. Yeah, it took a couple days to get used to that.
Yeah, I bet. You're used to living at sea level, dude, right? Like Florida's pretty sea level.
Dude, when I go out for a run, dude, oh my god, it's like I feel my lungs just trying to punch out the chest, bro. Like my heart's like, what are we doing? This is not our natural environment.
I am not supposed to be here.
You're supposed
High
to
altitude
be close
is like, bro.
You're supposed to be close to Atlantis.
Yeah. You're going up. We're supposed to be going down, brother. What are we doing?
Yeah, like you found the clouds, not the ocean. Like what are you doing?
The map is upside down.
You're supposed to be water tribe, not airbender.
Yeah.
Be a very funny concept for like some sort of like elemental magic system. It's just like kid who just like ends up in the wrong place, but has like the complete wrong magic. And everyone's always like, well, he's adopted. I don't know, you know?
Like, we don't. I think he was born next to the ocean, and then his parents brought him up here.
He just
may have picked up the wrong kid while they were down there.
Yeah, there was a problem at the hospital.
Yeah. Whoops.
Switched to birth. So you're taking a chill year. What does a chill year mean to you? Are you not writing at all this year? A little less? A little more?
less. I gotta finish Rogue Ascension finally because people keep bugging me about it, and I'm like, yes, I know. It's one of my most popular series. You guys love it, so I'm gonna finish that. Finish Slayer, and then I'm gonna start on a new story, rather than have a bunch of stories going at the same time. I think
you've hit the transition. That's the book 4 transition.
Yeah.
It's book 4. Book 4 is all like 3 and 4 is where it like kind of changes. Book 1, you're like, let's make this masterpiece. It's going to be amazing. And then you're like, all right, that didn't work. Let's go and make something that really fits the market. Oh, that didn't work. All right, let's just make something that's in between there that I enjoy, that meets the market, and we'll see how that goes. And you're like, oh, this did really well. And then you're like, all right, let's like calm it down and like do this for the next 10 years. And to do it for the next 10 years, I need to do one project really well at a time. Or you're like, I don't know, a crazy man, and you're like, hey.
Just say Seth Ring. Just say Seth Ring.
You're Seth
we
Ring,
were all
like,
thinking
hey.
Seth Ring.
You're just like, oh, sorry, there's a book.
It's so funny talking to Seth about like doing series because he's like, because I mean, man's got series, right? Like I have 2. I cannot really imagine doing more than 2. And he's like, if I do too many books in the same series in a row, my brain falls out. I have to like hop, otherwise I like burn out on it. And it's so fascinating, like the different way people's like brains tire out.
So funny thing is, and the fact that you got me on this podcast makes it like Providence or something. I remember last year when Chatfield said, "Hey Hunter, maybe you should slow down," and I responded, "No way."
There for this conversation.
Yeah, I think I remember this. I think this was at the
It was
at
at
the
Dragon
corner.
Con or something. It was around.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember you were getting pulled all over the place. I was like, dude, we gotta have a conversation. And we had a
Yeah.
conversation about things. Cause I was like, man, I was just hopping all over the place trying to figure it out. And you were telling me, look me in the eyes, Hunter. I think you grabbed my shoulder too. It was very intimate. Hunter, I know what you're going through. I've been there, brother. I've been there. You're gonna have to slow down. You'll probably make more money that way. And I was like, but Chatfield, how can I? So much competition and books coming out. I gotta keep going. The fans need more. And then a year later, I kind of realized the quality goes down, the fans get angry, and then you're not making as much money, even when you're working harder and harder. And I was like, huh, I guess the is right.
Little excited
Don't-
baby face there.
Don't ever say that to Michael Chatfield. There will be no living with him now.
Ah,
The
don't
one that's
worry
gonna
about
deal
it.
with him. I'm not
I
the one
know,
that's gonna
dude.
deal with him.
Well, haven't you heard you're replacing me?
Yeah.
No, but it is. It is. He's like, yeah, I don't want that role no more.
He's like, actually, it's my chill year. I'm not going to be taking on new projects. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, you know, when I was in your position, was not taking that advice, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go travel the world. I'm gonna go write the largest series I've ever written, and I'm gonna do it all in a year. That wasn't a great idea, but it's like you're like, oh, I want to get this story out as fast as possible because like you're so excited about the story, but there is like this weird part where like taking pauses and having time as you're doing it instead of like release allows you to just go, wait a minute, that's not right. Or like, this would be so much better like this. Cause like, I think when you're like writing really fast, you kind of bypass some of those gut checks really easily. Of like, something's not right here. And you're like, oh, I'll fix it in post. And then you run through and then you've forgotten about it. And then someone else is like, what the hell is this? And you're like, missed
Yeah.
that. But again, there is so many ways to write. There's so many ways to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes like man, I had a period where I like went through like guidance books on how to write, and that actually hurt me more than helped me because I was trying to like instead of just doing one thing and refining one thing at a time, I was like trying to refine 7 things in 7 different ways at the same time. It's just like so much mental load that I went from like my normal of like 6,000 a day to like 2,000 words a day because every sentence had to have all of that packed into it. And then I was just like, at the end of it, I was like, yeah, that didn't make things better. Just like, and like you get this intrinsic feeling of like, what's the advice I need? How does it happen? And then sometimes it's like, it doesn't work for right then, right now. And then sometimes it's like, oh, this is absolutely perfect. But it's cool, like behind the scenes.
There's also I don't want Andrew, unless you got something. I don't want to chat away.
You got something on your mind, man. Drop it.
All right, so there's also moments where you see other books, you see other styles, and you want to emulate it as you go along. And you know how with every series, there's a difference between series. Like Rogue Ascension is very different compared to Apocalypse Comedy. And Overpowered Wizard is different compared to all of those. And part of me is like thinking, I'm trying to like, I'm trying to find the sauce. And sometimes you find it, and sometimes it slips away. And I'm always trying to find that sauce. Is it in me or is it from others to like sort of break through that wall and become mega successful all the time? And the focus on the sauce ruins it sometimes. When you focus it on too much, when you try to like dibble dabble in the ingredients, like when you try to like do too much with it. And recently, especially going into this break and feeling like I kind of hit like a hard wall in my career where no amount of work will get past that. That's when I decided I I'm just gonna take a step back a little bit, read a little bit, and then just let it come back again naturally. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna wait around because come on, I love the money, I like the business, and I like the writing, and I like the fan engagement. I like all those things. But I realized I lost myself along the way last year somehow,
Hmm.
and I gotta like take this time to come back to it, regain my own sauce.
There's like a delta, right? That's like the amount of words I can write in a year that are good words and the amount of words I can physically write in a year are not the same thing. And you can get buried in just trying to write as many words as possible and lose sight of the big picture. Uh because it's like just too big for you to handle, right? Like there's just too much going on. And I feel like everybody has to find their like sweet spot of like this is my most productive that's still my like highest quality work.
I
Here,
think it's weird because it is is this weird internal thing, right? Like if you're in most other jobs, someone will externally tell you here is your metrics, right? To like hit and meet, right? Like we've all done jobs like that. When you're doing a purely creative thing, it is you can have an external metric like word count is something that we talk about a lot.
yeah.
Here's the caveat of word count is like usually say what our goal is for the day, but like our median average, like I think my median average is probably like 3,000 to 4,500 words a day, right? But then I'll have bursts of like a week or two of hitting 6,000 words a day. And that's like, I'm like, oh, that's my golden zone. But that takes like three things. One, like, and like I have like my methodology of it is before I go to sleep, what I do is I write down what the next two, three chapters are going to be. So I have that. Then when I go to sleep, I'm actually processing it while I dream. Then when I wake up in the morning, I clear out everything else and then I just write and I just do sprints 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 25 on, 5 off. And the discipline is just being like, no, you're not going to cheat and take 15 minutes off. No, you're not going to take those 10 minutes. And it's like that, those things will help me just get in and do a really high word count. Now, after doing that for 3 weeks, I'm a jelly donut that's been smashed with a hammer. Um, and my brain has just gone boop. But it takes time to understand that. And like when you're saying, hey, I'm taking this year to like slow down, that's actually a really good thing because a lot of times like new people into this job, and like I did this myself, is we overdo it, especially when we have a hit. Because there's something
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's so good when you're like, I'm writing this book, like I'm getting goosebumps getting this. You're writing a book and you're like, this book is so much fun to write. People are like, man, I love reading this book so much. And then you're like going and going and going. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm a little tired. And you go in, and what happens is you can go, all right, let's take off the gas and like have an adjustment period and have a look at the things under the hood because I've been running this motor really, really hard, right? And then you get that joy back again, and that or your sauce, right? You fill your tank full of sauce again, or you press that gas pedal because you're like, oh, it's at the floorboard, but can we go through the floorboard? Let's, and to
Yeah.
go through the
Time to go
floorboard,
Super Saiyan.
yeah,
Yeah.
it means you're destroying everything, and then that leads to burnout, and like that is, I think the biggest curse of this job is burnout, and it's like kind of the big monster that sits on our backs.
Dude, all I can say is what you described is perfectly what I felt when I was tearing things up with my Rogue Ascension. and I was just going hard for like months. Like I put out 8 books in 9 months,
Jeez.
all above 100,000 words each one. And that's when I got the whole mindset of, man, I can write so much and keep going, and that's what's expected of me. And I kept doing that, and I just, there were other things behind the scenes, so I tried like different things. And then when I was publishing Overpowered Wizard, each book was above 300,000 words. And
The
that
chonkers.
was that was like, an insane run. Could I do that again? Yes. But
I want to.
do I want to? Maybe. But I'm not going to enforce it on myself. I'm not going to make it like some big part of me like I did before. But if it naturally gets above 200,000 words, 20 hours on Audible, and it is mostly, I'm not going to say all, but mostly very good words, hey, why not? They like it chunky.
Yeah. God damn it, Hunter.
I do want to say one other thing, though. I like how, like, this, back to that different writing methodologies, I realize I'm at my best when I do not count the words. I count the sensations of every chapter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I count this like
Just vibes.
Vibe. When I feel like I got a good vibe from this chapter.
I achieved 4 vibes today. I am done.
And that's 10,000 words.
My KPIs are just vibes.
I hate
chapters.
all of this. Oh,
until the book is done, man. I don't know. The words aren't even mine. They come from the dark place, and these
walk.
So funny.
This
might be the 2 most polar opposite writing styles possible. Michael Chatfield, the science of writing, and Hunter Mythos, the dream.
I'm just imagining Hunter just getting up and just running around the block 3 or 4 times to say, all right, let's do this. And then right back into it.
No, 100%, dude. As soon as he said I count vibes, I was like, of course you do. That's like, yeah.
And if it's not vibing, I know something's wrong. If I'm trying to count the words, I need to get these words. Something's wrong.
I saw a excerpt from Terry Brooks's book on writing recently, which is like, it's from the final chapter. I haven't read it, but a friend of mine posted the final chapter, where he's basically like, I'm an old man, and here's a bunch of grumpy things I want to say about writing that I couldn't figure out how to fit in the book anywhere else. And he's like, the part of writing that you can't teach, but you can learn is instinct, where like to know that you've taken the wrong path. He's like, that can't be taught. Like, that's not writing. That's like storytelling instinct. You have to find it. But I thought that was really, really interesting, because I think that's essentially what you're describing, Hunter, which is like knowing when you're not vibing with the direction. So that's like the alarm bell of like, I have to fix this. I don't know what is wrong yet, but something is wrong. And ever since I've read that, I've started to trust my gut more when I'm like going somewhere. I'm like, usually I'm having fun writing, and I kind of don't like this part.
Yeah.
I mean, something's wrong. Like, it tastes bad now. So you know what? Count me as a vibe writer. I'm in.
There's also cases where you vibe a little too much.
True, you can vibe too close to the sun.
Yeah,
that's true.
You vibe a little too much. There are cases, there's a lot of cases where I vibe a little too much. Lately, I've been like, hey, that's really fun and cool. Pull back a little bit, just, this is fun, but I can already feel the reactions to this one, and I'm like, let me readjust it. Not a bad idea. Let me just readjust it here and there. And that happens when I slow down. I did an assassin story. I don't think I'm gonna release it because it's a little too dark. But I did an assassin story recently. Only 70,000 words, right? Because I was distracting myself. And I practiced this idea of, if it hits, I'm gonna just do one chapter. But if it goes beyond, I'm gonna stop at 5,000 words, 5,000 to 6,000 words. Because I know I could keep going, but I'm going to stop there.
And you did 10 times that. Yep, okay.
No, I stopped. And what I realized was, as I stopped and, let my thoughts percolate, I'll come back and be like, I could adjust this a little bit here. I could adjust that a little bit here. And then I'm like, I got ideas because I could have. Then I figured out, if I had kept going, I would have normally skipped something. But I stopped, thought about it. I was like, oh, I could add something right here that could fill that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Make it more than just an outline.
There's a part where it's like the sanctity of like when you realize there's no sanctity of words, that you can delete anything. Because so the whole vibe thing, I actually very much do understand. I just hate
He
all
just
of
hates
it.
hates it.
I hate all of it.
Vibe,
Vibe
Chatfield,
writing.
come on.
God. That's a cookie I don't want to eat, but I'm eating it just happily. But the no, because it like when you have like yesterday, actually, I was listening to music. I don't know if you guys get this. I freaking love this when this happens. Like listening to music or reading another book or like taking in some kind of media, and you just get hit, and you're just like, oh, that's a scene I gotta write, or that's a thing that's like you didn't even know that you were working on that problem in the back of your head, and like you're like, excuse me, and you just like go off and you're like, I gotta go write this down right now. And it was like, this is just cool, like that is so much fun. And I think sometimes to me, like what I do is I do events, and the events have like an emotional or vibe to them, and I'm like, let's trace out how to get to those. And when you hit those points, it's just perfect and so much fun. But when you do have like, okay, like when I do that at the end of the day of like what's going to happen in the next chapter, it's really fun because as I'm writing out what's going to happen in the next chapter, I'll be like, oh, I need to make a note that 2 chapters ago this happened. I need to change that because if I do this instead, it'll blend in so nicely with this. Or
Yes.
I have like a list where I'm like, I don't go back too far, or like if it's a heavy edit, I'm like, hey, in chapter 4, I said this, I need to change this, because then I don't lose the flow of right now, but I still have it in my mind of like, oh, that's super easy, but take it out of my mind. Because I think it's very easy to have too much in your writing space. And then you're like, you've got to remember all these things, all of your life, and the thing that you're working on. And then the more you can get to just writing what's in front of you, I think that you can get some damn good words. And it's, oh, that's a drag.
Literally use like a to-do software, and I have like a job that's just titled like the book. And whenever I hit a moment where I'm like, oh, I've changed something that's gonna have repercussions in the back, I just go in there and literally make like a to-do item that's like, fix this. Cool. Anyway, back to what I was doing. And when I finish the book, before like I send it off the first time, I go through and resolve like all the to-dos that I left myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will then leave to-dos that I'll be like, for next read, is this still present? Or like, is this vibe wrong or whatever? Because I'm like too in it to like look at it neutrally. And then I'll send it off to like my alpha readers. And then when it comes back, I'll go through, or like comes back from like first edit. When I go through, I'll like look at all of those and have them in the back of my mind of like, these are the things I was worried about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this is like, you know, underrepresented or whatever. And that's like how I do it, because the same thing, like I never go back, only forward. Unless I go back to write like 5 whole new chapters, right? Like I have done that. But that's, other than that, it's the same.
Some people say plot holes. I say plot opportunities.
All right, here's
That's the vibiest thing I've ever heard in my life, dude.
Every vibe coder out there is like, one of us, one of us.
Yeah.
Bro,
It's not a bug, it's a feature, dude.
Bro,
Yeah.
bro, I'm Caribbean, bro. I'm from the 305. It's in my blood.
You're just Florida manning authorship. Is that what you're saying right now?
Just it is what bro. I was I was
That's a yes.
Yes.
I was going through Medellin, just happy go lucky hunter Mythos, and I remember one day somebody was saying, "Wait, you're leaving Florida? You can't be Florida man anymore." And as I was walking,
It's an exported commodity.
As I was walking down the street, I took a look to my left. I saw a blue billboard with white letters saying Walt Disney Florida. And I thought to myself, there it goes.
It's
There
with me
it
wherever I
goes.
go.
It's
That's the blessing.
everywhere. I was walking Medellin, just random street. There it is.
Visit sunny Walt Disney Florida, dude. Florida, man, is like a state of being. It's not about a location, it's a vibe, and Hunter is all about vibes.
Chatfield's over there just like
We're killing
Easily just beating myself in my brain.
we're killing Chatfield. Like, this is doing like psychological damage to him.
Oh God, yeah. Is this what it's like talking to mind flayers? Just
Yep, basically.
might be. It, gotta break you down a little bit, you know? The sympathy.
Yeah. Come on, man. Just join the vibe. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Michael, you're really throwing
good.
off the vibes. Like, what's up?
You're
it's you know what? It's the word vibe is used for so much now. There's
Yeah, 'cause
like
it's a vibe.
yeah, it's like a whole like they took a section of the dictionary and like that part. It's like okay.
Oh, the English language.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Also,
Yeah.
you do know that we make our own words.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the best part.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
series is if you like okay, funny thing about dictionaries, this is such a topic.
Yeah, bro. There's no coming back from this, by the way.
Go
Whatever,
for it.
it's a vibe. And then-
There
We
We
you go.
got him! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him!
so in the dictionary, if you like Merriam-Webster, I think it is, or Oxford, for a word to be recognized in usage, it has to be published. So if we have a book that's published and people consume it and it's understood in the way that it's conveyed, then it can like essentially be involved in a dictionary.
Wait, so we're the authority on new words getting created?
Yeah.
Anytime I create a new word, by my authorial authority, it becomes eligible for inclusion in the dictionary?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay,
You
so,
should not have told me this.
So how many books put out Wiz?
What?
How many books put out Wiz? A
Wiz?
Gyat?
Whiz.
Gyat? I'm pretty sure Gyat made it in, didn't it?
Do you have
Google.
Wiz?
Yeah, do I have Riz? No, man, unfortunately. I wish I did.
Chat has Wiz.
Oh, yeah, it's in there.
Chatfield's got Riz, like, for days, dude.
Yeah, for days, completely.
Like,
he, looks
in my
he
books?
looks uncomfortable. No, just as a person. You got a lot of Riz.
Thanks.
He doesn't know what it means. This is the look of a boomer who's uncomfortable.
There's
What?
remember when I said a word and you're like, you don't know what that means. I was like, what? And you're like, it's changed. I was like, no. And you're like, this is what it means. And I was like,
Which
I'm gonna have
word
to
is it?
mentally remove that word from my vocabulary now.
Which word is it? Is it
Nah,
bussin'?
You don't need
Busted?
to know. You don't need to know. Huh?
The amount of times that bussin' and busted has changed so many times, it goes back
Yeah.
and forth. Like I have to like
Yeah.
readapt myself to be like, okay, what do they mean by bussin' this time?
The new definition for chopped gets me.
Oh,
I don't think I like it. Like, I don't
is it
know.
changed
That's what
again? Or is it like currently like the last year chopped?
like last year where it can be
Yeah.
like ugly or falling apart or like you're chopped, bro. Like, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I'm like, that doesn't feel right. Like, there's got to be a better word for this, but
No, it works. It works. It's like you like felling a tree. You know, like you're looking like you're falling, bro. What's going on? It kind of makes sense.
that's a stretch, but I kind of like it. You know what? All right, never mind. I'm in. I'm all in on chopped.
It works, but there's just so many other words that come about, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna put those in my books, man, because there's too many.
It's too many words.
There's too many changes. There's too many changes, and I won't
You got-
lie. Our demographic is mostly older,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have a hard time catching on, which is funny because I used to read Stephen King a lot, and Stephen King used to throw in a lot of slang.
Yeah, but he made up a lot of his own slang. Like, Stephen King is like some of it.
What?
Some
Yeah,
I feel like
Yeah, he was-
he borrowed some of it, or some of it was made up.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Like,
But he was also insane while he was writing many of those books. So
Yeah.
his everyone like every okay. Every author is a product of what they consume and how they consume it, right? Like, there's a lot of, I know a bunch of authors who don't read but just watch movies, and then you can like, it's interesting knowing what they consume and what they put out, of how it varies. Or like someone who's like, I listen to just audiobooks, and the way that they write dialogue or the way they write action scenes, it reflects that. Or you're like, oh, this person reads a lot of trad stuff or a specific amount of trad stuff, and then you just stare at Andrew and go, "What? Okay."
just because I read a lot of trad, is that what you're doing right now?
Well, there's a lot of lessons you've taken from trad.
I've read.
I didn't like
read
that.
your
I don't
book,
like
by
that
the
phrasing, Michael Chatfield.
way. Andrew, I've read your book, by the way.
Did you?
Yes. I forgot
Garbage,
which one
I know.
Was it Ironbound?
Ironbound. Yeah.
I read it, and I was like, "This is
There's
not
no
how
prints
you."
in that.
I was like, "This is not how you're supposed to write little RPG." But I like it though.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely am not writing the correct way, but it's my way.
No, that's what makes it wonderful. I was like, "Look at that!"
Yeah,
Finally,
Chatfield, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, Chatfield.
finally
it's just like,
something different.
It's my way. It just made me think of an Andrew Gibbler Pillsbury boy.
Hello.
Like,
You want to try that sentence again?
It just makes me think of you as like the Pillsbury boy. We're not trying
Take
that
three.
a third time.
Nah, come on. Comedy comes in threes. You got to do it one more time.
It's like you with your face on the Pillsbury boy.
You got it. I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, we're just gonna put you on the Michelin Man. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. There you go. He felt
That actually
safe saying
fits
Michelin.
more. Yeah, because then you're
The
like,
heck, man.
hey, well, you want to go find some stars.
That's true.
Yeah, you like food.
I do like food. That's true. Yeah, that was the thing I was genuinely worried about when I was writing Ironbound, was like, this is going to be different. And hopefully people are down for that. We did. You and I, yeah, we talked about this.
Conversation. The funniest thing about it is, I think I was talking from the side of lit RPG, and you were talking from the side of traditional,
Yeah.
and we both went our different paths. And honestly, looking back at it, I think we were both right.
Yeah. I mean, there's never a right answer when it comes to this kind of, like, only one right answer, I should say, when it comes to this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. But
you also never know how it's going to meet the market, right? Like, sorry, Matt, I'm going to use you to pick on. It's like the premise of DCC doesn't make sense, right? And then when people read it, they're like, oh, I love this. I love this so much. And like, trying to find a comp to DCC is incredibly hard, because there isn't a comp, because it's in this weird sliver niche of its own.
yeah.
And a lot of times, like, actually, this goes back to what you were saying, Hunter, like, hey, like, kind of when you catch the magic, right, of a great series that you really enjoy and that others really enjoy. It's like, sometimes it's all about timing. Like, hey, if you were to write a lit RPG 15, 20 years ago, would it hit? Maybe not. Or if you were to do like a VR story right now, would it hit? Maybe not. But you do it like 5 years ago, it would have been amazing, right? You can't really control for those parts. That's just life. It's just like, when it hits it right, it's so good. But when it doesn't hit it, you're like, damn it. But it may be a great series. It just didn't find its audience, or hasn't had hit where it needed to.
I went through that a couple times, but the most recent one that kind of took me out, pure mage build, was, somebody described it as an idea that was a little too ahead of its time, and it was too cracked for the market. It was, I want to describe it as something that was like a hazy dream that I wrote within 1 month. Came out to be 150,000. It was 150,000 words that I wrote in 1 month, and I was just straight gas. I wanted to
Like
see what would
stream
happen.
consciousness.
Yeah, I wanted to see what happened if I took this guy from level 1 to 100, just constant adventures and level ups, all sorts of crazy shit within one book. Crack.
He goes level 1 to 100 in one book?
Bro, he fought a god king by the end of the book.
And there's still probably a review that's like, this book is a little too slow for me.
Yeah. Like Persia's just getting slapped around out there, and it's like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, and I want to see what happened, because I was like, I kind of hit this fear where I have so many ideas and I couldn't reach it in time. There was so much. So what if I just condensed it? What if I condensed 3 books into one? You know, and see what happens. And I got to see what happens. It was not a good idea. But it found people who were insane about it. They loved it. Really loved it. But
so like if it hits for them, it hits for them hard.
Yeah, but
yeah.
It was one of those books where I couldn't see myself continuing it, because now that I saw the flaws, I was like, oh man.
And that's kind of
let that one go.
Like when you slow it down, then you can be like, oh, that's an opportunity hole. We gotta fix that somehow, you know, like, and you see those issues. And it's like, why, when you have multiple passes with your editors and having other viewpoints, or like Andrew, when you were like, hey, I need to check with these people to see how to fix this. Like, I go to my dev editor and say like, hey, this chapter, this paragraph, do I need to keep this, or am I over explaining stuff? Because I'm not sure right now. And then just keep on rolling, because you need to have those people you trust to be like, yeah, that doesn't work, or no, that actually is totally fine. Don't even think about it. Because sometimes we overanalyze, and sometimes we just don't even catch stuff because we're like, ooh, shiny object. It's this weird place where it's like there's no real like good answer for it.
Yeah, I should probably get editors.
Yeah, they're good people. Good people. Hey, Andrew.
I'm off the vibe train.
I was just going to ask. I was like, hey, Andrew, how's that vibe hit you?
Slowly hit Andrew. Like I said.
No, but I knew this. I just hadn't thought about it, because you told me this when we, like, the first time we ever met at Vegas, when we had that big conversation about like trad and lit RPG coming together. And you were like, I don't even use editors. And I was like, I get made fun of by all the people who come on this podcast because I edit a psychotic amount, I think.
It's not a psychotic amount. It's a lot.
I finish a draft. I do a pass. I give it to alpha readers. And then depending on timeline, I also give it to my editor for a copy. But if there's time, the alpha people give me feedback and then I make changes. Then it goes to a copy editor. Then I do a full pass. Then it goes to line edits. I do another final pass. Then it goes to proof. I review the proof. And sometimes we do a second proof if I'm unhappy.
You do copy first?
I don't know which one it is. It's the same guy. I have never been convinced that there's truly a difference between copy and line. Like, I know that there functionally should be, but I feel like I get the same kind of feedback on both edits.
They kind of merged
right?
over the years.
Yeah, like, it's just essentially 2 passes from the same guy who's doing the, like, in-depth, I live in the book with you type of thing.
I think it should be line, then copy.
I may have said it backwards. I don't know. It's always the same person, so it doesn't really matter. And I will be like, I don't care what version we're doing. If something is like, ooh, that's actually a hole, I go fix it. Like, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not like, ooh, we're in the... I don't care. It just, my brain doesn't work that way. When I find problems, I fix them. But yeah, I end up doing like 5 to 6 passes.
So, now that you're saying it, part of my plan after I finish my current series, I'm going back to the Demon. I'm going back to Royal Road. For the past couple of series, I haven't been on there, but I kind of realized I needed them to be mean to me, keep me on my toes.
You do need like a harsh feedback loop.
Yeah, I think that's the most Marine thing you have said. I need some punishment in my life to make me excited about this. And I'm like, no, you don't. You can leave that all behind.
Some things behind. But sometimes you kind of realize, you know,
were they good things or bad things? You didn't define that part.
some things behind, but I was like, you know what?
TBD.
Every now and then I gotta get a punch in the mouth, you know. Keep me frosty, you know.
Keep me
life,
frosty. That is the most Marine thing.
Life is a fight, you know. Words and books are a fight, you know.
True.
You gotta
That I
fight
agree
the commentators, and go debate them when they think they're being smartasses, you know. And then when they correct something, because sometimes in Road, man, when they correct something, I'll be like, you got a point.
Yeah.
It's funny the range of feedback you can get, right? I have a thing that I'm going to post soon. The other day, Ironbound, on the exact same day on Goodreads, received a 1-star and a 5-star. And the 1-star was like, this book didn't hook me. It's super slow. I read 100 pages and I wasn't engaged. I'm out. The second book was like, this is the most high-octane book I've ever read. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. If you're looking for a book that never lets you go, this is the book. And I was like, there is no better definition of like nothing is for everyone than on the same day, 2 reviewers with a complete opposite opinion of the book posting a review, right? And you have to like find the middle in there of like, maybe there's something weak in the first 100 pages, but also maybe not. Who knows?
Okay, so question for you too. You know when you meet real people, like, you know, people, you know, outside in the world.
I try to avoid that.
Yeah,
I've noticed. Do they touch grass?
I don't know. I strange creatures, you know, almost like elven folk.
Yeah.
I like how we're talking to normies like they're elves. Anyway,
Better than dwarves.
With these people frolicking around in the world out there, the you know, the question that always comes up is like when someone asks you, oh, like what do you do, and you're like, oh, well, you know, I write books, blah blah blah, and then you know one of the questions they ask is, oh, like what book should I read? You know, like I don't know,
Yeah.
like it, like, and you know, you're like, I've gone through this conversation so many times. I now have a filter. I'm like, what was the last thing that you read that you really enjoyed? And they'll tell me something. I'm like, don't read my books.
Yep.
Like 8 times out of 10, it's like, don't read my stuff. And they're
I've gotten to that point too.
I never recommend me. I'm like, you should read The Name of the Wind.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like I always get told by like people on my team, like, hey, you should recommend your stuff. And I'm like, no, because unless it's like someone who's like, oh man, I love these things, I'm like, I think you would be amped to read this thing. Go for it. But I think there is like a part where I think we're all readers first of when you see someone and like know what books that they've read, and you're like, I can give you the next book that you're gonna just absolutely love. That is just such a high. But it is a weird thing where you're like, yeah, I got books. And then they're like, hey, which one should I read? And you're like, absolutely none of them. They're like, oh, like, are they not good? They're like, oh, people say they're good.
I don't wish to be perceived in this way. Yeah. The people in the distance like the book. You are too close.
My sister read one of my books.
Oh,
Ooh.
How'd that go?
She was like, I tried, Hunter. I really tried. It's just
I hate that statement. I hate that statement so much.
There's just so many things I don't understand, but you have so much imagination.
Yeah.
That always sounds like so negative, right? They're like, wow, you're really thinking big thoughts over there, huh? Aren't you?
Like the non-compliment compliment, like, good job, buddy.
Yep.
We just need James Hunter coming in there, just like, good job, man. And you're like, oh, and just like in his oh man, you're like, I'm so motivated, I'm so fulfilled, but I feel so bad. Like I've let down James. No.
I was like, and that's when it like accumulation of that made me like you. It's like, what do you read? And somebody be like, I read self-help books, you know, I like, you know, real things. But I'll still get your book though. And I was like, no. Like, well, why not? And I was like, you don't read what I write. You read self-help books. And he's like, but look, you know. And I made the mistake of showing someone one of my books, the, you know, Rogue Ascension. In the first book, he's like, dude, you have so many stars. This was supposed to be a major book. And it's like,
It is for people, but okay.
My
now
other least favorite is and I mean this with so much love. If anybody here has done this, don't tell your author friend, I still haven't gotten to your book, but it's like I'm working on it. Don't do that. It's like, yeah, don't do that. I die a little inside every time because it feels like such a little like, oh yay! Just don't. If you don't want to read it, it's fine. I don't care. I promise.
just please don't bring it up.
Yeah, honestly, just be like, cool, whatever. You write books, awesome. That's good for you. Cool. Period. Everybody always has like an excuse. They're like, I don't read. You don't need to say that. Actually, it's fine.
We're in the most literate time period of the world, so like, yeah, you do, but like, whatever.
Yeah, but it's fine. But it's fine.
I had somebody
Go read the subtitles.
I had somebody ask if you could do a recommendation, or like, can I have you do a quote for my book? And I was like, well, that depends. Do you want me to read it or to lie? Because currently I'm stuck on The Wandering Inn.
This book completes all the requirements of being a book. It has a front cover, a back cover, and a bunch of words in between.
Said that, I kind of realized, oh, bro, that's not. I'm currently not in that vibe right now. I sensed it a little bit. I was like,
all right, won't be asking Hunter for a blurb anytime soon.
Wait till I get back to being like super active again. It was like, okay,
yeah, no.
So, okay, have you had the inverse though? When you talk to someone that you know personally, and then you realize that they've read the book and they're just trying not to be like super excited about it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell you that they hate it.
Well, I love the YouTuber's right in the negativity. He's in the comment section already, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I've been on the internet too long, man. Yeah. Yes, actually, I have, and that's fun. That's like, oh, we're doing like a real thing. Yay! I'm real. It's true.
Why was that like you're in a bouncy castle? Like, I'm so excited. Yeah.
I don't know, man, because the other side of like negative reviews don't really bother me that much anymore after getting mean comments on YouTube for a decade. Is that like positive comments also don't really do like, I'm like, great. I'm glad that people are enjoying it so that it will continue to look appealing to new readers. You know what I mean? Like, yay. Yeah. But I don't like feel it in my soul. I'm not like, oh yes. But then when it's somebody I know who's like, dude, I read that and that was sick. You're like, oh, real people are reading this book. Like, I don't know. Those are the moments where like I do feel one feeling for a moment.
I'm a slut.
One of the feels.
We know, Hunter.
I'm a slut, man. Like, I pulled back so much, and now I'm on my chill zone. I realize as soon as somebody like catches me, as soon as they catch me, they say, Hunter, I really love your book. Like, oh!
Hunter, okay, first of all, like, for people who don't understand this, Hunter's a big dude.
You're like, what, 6'4"? How tall are you, Hunter?
Bro, I'm 6 feet. The extra 4 inches are in my shoulders.
Really?
Yeah, bro, I'm not that tall.
I remember you being giant, dude.
Everybody confuses me for being tall because I'm big. I'm like a Mack truck, you know? That's why everybody thinks I'm tall. It's like the presence, you know? It's also the aura I give off a little bit.
Yeah, you just give off big aura, for sure. Yeah.
Big aura,
yeah,
up top, down low.
He's just handballing people's faces like, hi.
Yep. Hunter Mythos.
But like, you were going to say something, Chaffee. What's up?
Okay. Lit RPG authors need to stop being so freaking tall and big.
It is weird.
It is a surprising demographic. Like, you go and look at like other writing demographics and it's like, oh yeah, everyone's like average height, No, I think the median height in the Lit RPG circle, and Andrew and I are not helping this, is like 6'2", because you're just there just being like, yeah, okay, yeah. Do you have problems going through doors? Like, I don't know.
No, it is statistically weird how often I end up in conversations with authors where I'm the shortest person at 6 feet. I'm like looking around, looking up at everybody, and I'm like, this isn't normal. People are not this tall. Like, there should be someone shorter than me in this conversation, and there isn't.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Let's find Jazz.
Just by Jez?
Look.
Jez
look.
is not short either. He's
He's also
taller than me.
broad. He's also
Yeah.
broad, so he doesn't feel short.
He's average height, but he has the linebacker shoulders.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
get confused with me too. Like, I'm literally your height. It's just you keep looking at the shoulders, bro.
You know,
It's true. I didn't even make it to the top. I'm just like, he keeps going forever, dude.
beep, beep, beep. Ah, it's a Mack truck. Yeah.
He's here.
He's backing some shit up. I hear him in the back.
Yeah,
So-
man.
We've come to this period where, why do you love Mustangs so much? Is it because you're a Marine?
I didn't even think of the association of that because I was always overseas. So I didn't know about that.
So much. Wait,
I
did you get these overseas?
No, these are when I get back. When I got out of the Marines, that's when I got my first car outside the Marines. I never drove. Like literally, for most of my life, up till 24, I've never driven and never had a driver's license. Then I got out the Marines. Got my cousin taught me to drive. Passed the test, and I went to a Ford dealership. And I was gonna be like, I'm gonna be responsible and get an affordable car. I didn't know anything about. I didn't know that much about cars at the time. And I was like, what's an affordable car with some good gas mileage? A Ford Fiesta or some shit? I don't know. And I was just walking through the lot, la-di-da-di-da, and then I saw something in the corner of my eye. And I didn't just turn my head, pivoted, and that's when I saw her, my first Mustang, a gray V6, 07, and I was like, I had to get her, and we drove a lot, and then she got busted down in Texas. We were in Houston, and transmission cracked, whatever. It will cost an arm and a leg to fix it. So I let her go.
Put her down.
Yeah. Now I ended up on another Ford dealership. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get a responsible car because I'm in Texas this time. And it's very far to drive anywhere. And then I saw her in the corner of my eye, something gleaming bright red in this Texas sunshine. And I looked at her. And I had to do it, bro.
Brother, okay. How long were you out before you got your first Mustang?
I think a month.
Damn. Okay. You're not helping the stereotypes. What was like, please tell me that the financing, what was the financing percentage? Did you finance, you buy cash?
Okay, first one I bought cash because I did save money in the Marines.
Oh, God. Oh, you broke one of the 3 stereotypes.
Okay.
It,
Was it
You're
what?
You're hurting him.
I
You're hurting
had
him,
money,
Hunter.
So, and then a couple years after I finished university, I ran off with this girl that I thought I was gonna marry, and turned out things didn't work out in Nashville. So we split off.
It never does.
We split off, and I ended up in Texas.
bro, I gotta go to Nashville this year. Don't tell me this.
We split off. I ended up in Texas. And I was like, I burned through a lot of money I saved over the years with that girl. And so when I got my next Mustang, I had to finance it. And then, things happened, la-di-da-di-da, COVID. I ended up in my last job at a car wash. After working at 2 casinos, so this is when I ran back to Florida. I was like, I need to go back home. So I worked a bunch of jobs. I ended up working at 2 casinos. And I was like, these jobs. And I ended up working at a car wash that was owned by the Russian mafia.
Of course.
Did they own the casino too?
Nah, they didn't own the casino, but they did own the car wash. And I was working $11.30 an hour. This is my last job. And I was like thinking to myself, if Gunny were to see me now,
Got a Mustang though.
And then I was like, I had the Mustang, parked over to the side, and I was like, "Fuck, why am I working this job?" And I burned through all my money saved over the years, and lo and behold, with my back to the wall, I finally got that my first little audio deal from Podium. Paid me, a good little chunk. And I was like, "Oh my god,
It's
this is
real.
so much money!" But it's that first deal, Chatfield, so you kind of know what it was, don't you?
Yeah, but then you're also like, ooh, Mustang payment. Hello, how are you
Yes!
doing over there, sexy?
Yes. So ran away from that job, and I was gassed ever since. And I was
Yeah,
able,
Mustangs burn a lot of it. Yeah, we get it.
yeah, and I was able to pay off the Mustang that first year while living in my mom's basement. So
True basement dweller to author story.
yeah, so from the heights of the Marines to the Mustangs to Nashville relationship to just all the way crashing down, and then I just clawed my way out of the hole.
Now here he is in South America vibing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, I have to tell you something. So it is the most stereotypical thing for a Marine on his first paycheck to go and get a Mustang at like some like 42% financing, right? The fact that as soon as Hunter could one drive and two was on like actual leave was like Mustang, baby.
Thing.
And like thank God he got it in cash. Is just
No,
Listen.
I got it after I left the Marines.
yeah, but it's but if you're doing that many deployments, then you really don't really have that much time off. It's
True.
like you're just like rolling. You're like, all right, well, let's go get that freedom pay.
I save a lot of money, bro.
Oh man,
Bet.
yeah, you save so much money. Which,
I burned through it all afterwards. Learned a couple
yeah.
lessons. Learned a lot of life lessons.
Who among us hasn't learned at least one lesson?
Yeah, impressing a girl with finances. You've
Don't
heard
do
it
it.
here, folks. Don't do it. If she is impressed by your wallet, that's probably the only thing she's impressed by in your pants. So just don't do that.
Yeah, the problem was, man, it was hard to let her go. She had a grip on me. Yeah, drink that juice, Chatfield. Drink that juice.
Yeah. We
oh, every man just had a collective sigh.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. But
and then we all had a flashback.
And then you know that it's just not good. And then you're like, ah.
No, I can fix it. Chatfield. It'll be fine.
No, Andrew, no. No, not.
Fix! Just try harder.
You know wow, and then now we've gone full circle back to writing. Just write more, try harder. The life lesson on this podcast is actually do a little less. Whatever it is that you're doing, do a little less.
Oh, you know what? A piece of advice that Ben has, which is like Ben Cray is like, I don't know, he is the most, I don't know, maybe it's just the way he gives it off. He's zen as about writing, right? Because what he'll do is he'll like kind of like what you were doing, Hunter, with that story idea, where he's like, I'm gonna write, and then if it works out, that's awesome. If it doesn't, then I just will stop and I will not, finish this. And it's like, okay, it works for him. But it is like there's this thing where he's like, sometimes it's just the story. It's more often the story than it is you. And like maybe that story just doesn't work. And it just takes you a bit of time to find out that story doesn't work. And you have two choices. You can go and force that story to work, which usually doesn't work out. Like we all like get that feeling of like, this is just not going to be good. Or you're like, okay, let's put that to the side. Maybe something will come that will make that story work. Or we just go and focus on another idea, which will work. Instead of like chasing good work with like bad work with good, it's just like go and focus on the strengths, which I like. I'm like, that's really interesting because we have such a big thing of if this doesn't work, it is us, that is the problem.
Yeah.
Which is hard, like as much as like we love having these chats and like Saturdays we get to go and hang out with authors, which is a lot of fun. In like going to cons and stuff, I think those are really big things to like recalibrate of like, oh, I've been like thinking that this is all wrong or I'm pushing super, super hard on it, and that's not actually right. And it's like people will be like, bro, calm down. And like everyone like is like pushing like 120%. And then after a con, you're like, I'm gonna push hard, but it's being like 80% because there's no like there's no dog on my ass anymore. Just like hard.
It's almost like a parenting convention where like everybody's like, oh, you haven't slept in 6 months either. Maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe like we've all gone off and been left to our own devices for 3 to 4 months, and we've been like, I wrote all the words, and now I'm and everyone's like, oh wait, why do we all look like we're dying? Hello?
Oh man, I used to be like spiteful as like what drove me was spite. Like
Fueled by
like,
hate.
they hate from haters and like everything, right? It drove me, right?
It's a powerful motivator, honestly. It's a really strong one.
Going to those cons kind of beat it back, put down the demon a little bit, like, oh, everybody's friends, oh, look at us, and then you get away a little bit and you think you're healed, and then it comes back. He's like, why you chilling? Why you relaxing? Why you not making this bread?
Seth Ring wrote 3 books this week. What are you doing?
And then like you're like, oh, I gotta get back on it. It was when I finally came out here. We are going full circle. When I came out here to Medellin, something inside of me broke.
I'd say not broke because I know exactly what you're saying, but
okay,
something
say
settled.
it better.
Something settled. Like it came into calibration where you're like, oh, I don't need to run on this like thing that is like battery acid because it's a thing of it'll motivate you and it'll push you really, really hard, but it burns you out a lot. It's like when you overtrain and you feel that overtrainingness and you're like just running on cortisol and freaking like your body is in like a bad shape. Whereas like when you have like that good nutrition, you've been super rested, and then you're going hit it, and you're just leveling up. You're just like kicking buckets, and you're like, oh man, like I feel juiced, but I'm like not actually like pushing into this negative spot where I'm like actually burning myself out. It's like good growth. Yeah.
That's how I hit 315 the other day.
Bro, nice.
Yeah, I didn't think I could.
Bench press, not words, right? Just so we're clear.
Yeah. So that's his whole sidebar. We'll get back to that later.
He's half dabbing. He's half dabbing on his bench press there. He's like, bro, God, I can't even get my arms over. Like, it's so big.
To a point, something settled, but the reason why I also say broke, it made it harder to write the current stories I had because a lot of them was built on that,
But you like leveled up. You leveled up, but you're stuck in your old like mission, your old quest still.
And I looked at it and I was like, people do like this book, but I was like, there are some things that are missing here. Like, it can't just be action all the time. Like, there should be more here. And that was the weirdest thing because this happened with Slayer. I was literally just vibing and going up until the point where I was like, let me put this aside. I have to work on moving. So I worked on moving. And before I came to Medellin, I went to visit family. And I spent some time with my nieces and my nephew. I haven't seen my nephew in a long time. So I set the book aside, spent some time with family, do human things.
The concept.
That came out to Medellin. And as soon as I tried to write, bro, it was like something shifted and changed. And I was like, this is good, but it's missing things. Why is it missing things? Why do I feel weird? What is this? Why is this happiness, this joy is consistent? What's going on here? What is this? And I was like, oh shit, I'm not so spiteful anymore. I'm actually pretty good. Huh. Huh.
You must
What am I
find a
supposed
new
to do with
fuel
this?
source.
What am I supposed to do with this? Like this screws up my like vibe. And so I had to cut Slayer short. Like I literally could have like finished it. It was the shortest book. I'm not even gonna say how many words it is. I can't even say how many words it is. It's the shortest book I've ever written. I'm not gonna say. It's not
I
30.
didn't think that was close.
I'm not gonna say. I was stuck. I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna have to let it go. So, like, and then I was like, and then after that, I realized I needed to read something, and that's when I realized I could read The Wrongdoing In. I pushed it aside for so long, and I was like, I could read this. It's supposed to be some nice, fun slice of life. It's a lot more than that. Holy shit, it's a lot more than that.
I think it's also I kind of it's like throwing it into a tumbler is what I kind of call it. It's like when you have like, hey, I've gone through a shift in this story, in this tone, in myself, and then you need to like take in other media because then you're like, okay, I have this thing here that I need to change on a little bit. How do I do that? And how do I bring it into alignment again? Right? Like I just had this with the last book where it's like, okay, I have this thing, and it's like you're feeling this tension point where you're like, I've gone off the rails a little bit, and I need to bring it onto this new rail. How do I do this? And then you like go consume a whole bunch of other content because it allows you to jumble up your ideas with other ideas and other thoughts and other things.
Yeah.
And then you go and something just hits at some point and you're like, oh, that's what I need to do. And taking that pause again of like, I need to jumble up my ideas enough that I hit that point where you have that inflection to go to that next thing is like, that's really key. And some authors, it's like they need that all the time for every single chapter. And others, they're like, I just need that for the starting idea, and then I can run with that. And it's like I have this internal debate about consumption versus production of like how much of other things do you need to consume in order to then produce, or is that even a thing? Just because I think that we, steel gets sharper with steel. Like we all read other people's books and media, and like we're probably the biggest consumers because we're like, man, this is so good, and taking the things that actually work for us over. And there's other things where we're like, this is really great, but I can't use this because it's not in my style. But it does give you like, is that a star to like guide towards, or is it just
It's
like,
hard.
this is a nice thing?
That's a hard thing because like you can see a style and you read it and it's like really cool, but you have to have like the understand. Like I've reached a point where I understand I have a particular style and I like how this person's writing, but I can't do what they do. And there's that gap in between where it's like, does that make me a bad writer or stuff like that? And yeah, you have to like. I've go through that so many times when I'm reading like other works, especially really good works.
It's knowing your author voice. Once you know your author voice, that's super strong. And I think it's a hard one to be like, once you have like, I think actually the strongest thing for new writers is establishing your author voice, understanding that, and then being like, okay, I can adjust this a little bit in different ways, but I can't change it. And like I am really impressed by Andrew of like how he's changed the stylistic like writing choice, because that's a really large change to make to your author voice. But you've done that in a way where I've changed it, but my author voice is still the same. It's just conveyed in a different way. But there's so many damn ways to do this and make some really good books. Like at the end of the day, making good books. Oh,
But it's also figuring out like how much you can change, right? Because if somebody reads your book, they like your tone. If you deliver something that's completely 100% different, they're shocked, they may not enjoy it. Like it's not smart in a certain kind of way, right? So like you have to figure out how to do the variation. I like doing new things. I like trying new tricks. My two series are very different tonally. But there's still like an underlying consistency, I think, to them that hopefully like you like one. This one's funnier. Like my urban fantasy series is funnier than Ironbound, but they still like wrestle with a lot of the same kind of ideas and the same kind of like character development and power. But like you have to be conscious of like I want to try a new thing, but also it can't be too new, or everyone's gonna be like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
You also, I went down a dark path a little recently, like trying to optimize for the market more than for the story. That was one of the things I had to grapple with a couple months ago, and I was like, because I was talking with somebody else, and we were like all like brainstorming about optimization and marketing and TikTok and all sorts of things, or like getting like the best like ideas and blurbs and all that, shooting it out there. And along the way, you kind of back to the sauce. You lose the sauce of who you are for trying to over market. It's a weird thing to say because I look back from Royal Road and I remember the times where people would be like so outside the market. You have to fight with them and tell them like, no, dude, ring it in. And now I'm on the other side where I'm like way too far into the market. It's like, come on, bro. Don't forget the story.
It's the tension when art is a business, right?
I'm trying to find my artist again, you know?
I think that, especially being indies, that is a really hard part because you have to deal with like those essentially two devils, right? There's no angel really between them. The angel is actually in the middle between them, where you're making like, that kind of thing of you're making art that people really enjoy. And if you can hit that, then that means that it'll usually sell really well. I think more often I'm just saying like, what are the books that you really enjoy that are really successful? Find the things that you really enjoy that are really successful and like that you want to write in. That's the niche to go for. Instead of like one, you have the, oh, well, my book fits into every genre possible. And it's like, no, it doesn't. Or two,
no one will like it if it does.
or genre can't define this.
Yeah.
If you have those two books,
good luck.
If you have those books, please go write them. And then take a pause because
watch what happens.
You know, like the first, when we talked about this, of like, oh, book 3, book 4, of like, you go write the book that you need to write, then you go write the book that you think the market needs, and then you go and write a book that actually meets in the middle of that, right?
Yeah.
And then fourth is, okay, now I'm going to do this for a long period of time. Let's optimize the other things around this, so that it's not such a absolute marionette mess. Yeah. You got to make mistakes though in this job.
Oh yeah. I'm still making them. I don't know about you guys, but like 100%, you make new ones every time, right? Like that's how you know you're learning, is if you're making a new mistake.
Yeah. There's also a saying I really love where it's like, okay, do you have, you guys definitely probably have this. It's like when you finish a book and you're like, oh man, that thing's awful, but the next book's going to be great.
I have it about 80%. I'm like, this book is garbage. It is a disjointed mess that clearly has no through line. It has no idea who it is or where it's going. I have written 150,000 words of nonsense, and there is no landing the plane. And then every time I land it, and I'm like, oh! And then people read it, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No."
Yep.
Maybe I should be like you guys, man. Maybe I should be like super negative and be like, "Oh, this thing's gonna be shitty," and it just surprises me.
Well, I refuse to get excited before a book comes out. I refuse.
Oh, yeah.
No. Because you can only be disappointed, right? My imagination is wild and untamable, right? I just wrote a New York Times bestseller, right? It's getting a movie deal and will be a book. Like, no, I would rather be like, I wrote something. It's going to be the best it can. I know people who've read it have given it good feedback. We'll find out. And then no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I was a wreck the first week Ironbound came out, dude. I was like, Hunter, one of the problems we have with this podcast is we don't have a name for it. So I think since we've gone full circle, we got to bring it in for a landing, which is we ask every author we have on the podcast to come up with a name because we hate naming things. So do you have a? Yeah. I didn't even finish the question.
Yeah. Yo, he's running on vibes, bro. He doesn't need the question.
He picked up on the vibe.
Numbers and vibes.
Numbers and vibes. You said that you just had a book come out, right? Do you want to tell everybody what you have coming out? And I know you're taking a slower year, but what you got coming up too? Want to make sure that people know where to find you.
So the long-awaited Rogue Ascension 9 is gonna come out probably sometime this summer. Once I can finally put down The Wandering Inn and reread all 8 freaking books of Rogue Ascension, and then write 9. So there's that. 10 will come. Rogue Ascension 10 will come out, and then Slayer 6 will come out after that. But those are just like sequels I want to get out. The most interesting thing is after I'm done with those books, thinking about taking a more like worldview instead of going multiverse. I usually do multiverse stories. I'm thinking like let's trick it down to like just the world. And I was thinking to myself, would I do an assassin story or a sorcerer story? There's not that many lit RPG sorcerers.
That's true. And you could almost make the sorcerer like a system, right? Because it's like a bargain with a god. So you could have like a situation where the system is just the god's like GUI system that they've dropped on you to manage your deal with them.
Or it could be like his inborn power. Because usually the idea behind sorcerers is they just get a power and they just vibe with it.
Wait, am I thinking of? No, man, I was thinking of warlocks. Dang it! No, yeah.
Yeah, you were thinking of warlocks.
Yeah, I flipped. Never mind. Anyway, dibs. I call dibs. I'm running away. That's my idea now. See you guys.
Man. With the warlock idea, that just made me think of like the gods are too busy. So here's the helpline, and it's constantly busy because it's everyone sending a prayer like, "Hey man, could you fix the freaking like the experience system or something?" This is
Thank you for reaching the divine hotline. All of our other representatives are on the line. Your call will be answered in the order it was received.
Yeah. We are recording this. Hangs up on you. Like it's so broken. I'm like, oh, message limit reached. Hang.
We're sorry, this inbox is full.
Yo, go the way. Yo, this is God on the line. He's like, God, I have done everything you've asked of me. He's like, you still got more. You're my realest soldier. Let grind up, bitch.
It's just Morgan Freeman answering the phone.
Yeah.
But this is how bad I am. And I'm trying to rein this in, is I'm always ready to write a new thing. And I know I am. And if I give in to that feeling, even if I do just one chapter, that's all, I'll get sucked into it. So I've learned to like jot down a few notes for this, next series I'll probably work on. And toss to the wolves in Royal Road. And that's how I settle down the beast so I can focus on what I have to finish. So that way I can finish some stuff and I could be like, there's your sequels, there's the ending. Everybody just wait. I'm gonna work on something new. And I'm finally gonna take Chatfield's advice. And just take it
buy a Mustang.
Step by step. But yeah, this year is more of a chill year for me, man. And it's like, you know what? Let's let myself be a little happy, And then I ended up reading the Wandering Inn. It's the most traumatizing and most horrifying work I've ever read in the RPG.
It's going well.
Very well. Chipper.
Go read Beware of Chicken if you want a mental break. That's a story. That's a great story. That's a really fun one.
Yeah. That's on the list. You know how many freaking books are coming out, man? And it's like,
people need to calm down, dude.
Just want to read this, but I'm like, it depends the mood. I'm like working on this, I'm working on that. But
You're
sometimes
vibrating. You're
I
vibrating,
just
aren't you?
sometimes I just want a dark mood, man. Like I want some sort of like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, like sort of story with levels and shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to write that. Like I was writing the assassin story, and I realized, dude, that's too dark. I
How about okay? Go read Jez's stuff. Have you read Jez's stuff,
started on. I know I had one on my list. How dark? How
dude?
dark does Chess go?
He's like grimdark. Like it's that realistic grimdark. You know where you're like, oh, that's what actually would happen, right? Like it's like when someone, you have a fight scene, you're like, oh yeah, like in any fight scene, no one in that, even the guy who wins, is coming out like a little busted up, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, that's gritty, realistic, or like grimdark, but it's not like grimdark where it's just like constantly beating down on the person. Like
yeah.
there are parts where you're like, oh, that sucks, but you're like, it's realistic. So I definitely a series I would like, multiple series that he has. I would check out because like that feeling of like grittier lit RPG.
I got away from grittier lit RPG and got into a little more lighthearted, a little more anime esque. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
kind of went a little too far in that direction. Now I was like, now I feel like I want to come back to it, get back to it. Uh, but one of the things that I do enjoy exploring is like atypical main characters or characters around themselves. I've kind of noticed that when I work with characters that are a little bit odd or weird, or this person like could be slightly a psychopath, but they're a friend and they got your back. Those are what makes the scenes like come alive for me a little bit.
Mm.
Some stories I see do well when you have normal people and then like become like savage in some way. But sometimes I kind of like people who always have a little bit of savage in them, and they finally have an option to release it.
Yeah.
Waiting for this my whole life.
Yeah, but most of the time I find it where you work with a normal person and see how they change typically does a little better sometimes.
Easier for people to join the ride.
Yeah,
It's interesting of how I'm always like, I think that people underestimate how much they can adapt to any situation. Like I'm very much reminded of like my nan went through the Blitz, right? And she was like, "Oh yeah, like it's just a thing." And I'm like, "This is like, she was like, yeah, I think a teenager at the time, and she's like, yeah, like we would go to the dances and stuff, and then we just had to make sure we would go to the dances in a certain time period. All of the windows were blacked out and stuff because then it wouldn't show the bombers where the cities were. And like she's like, oh yeah, like me and my friend, we went off to the dance, and it was like a bad time of like bombs and all this kind of stuff. But the we were like, oh, we'll go to the dance, it'll be fine. Off they go. They come back, like bombs go off nearby, and they're like, oh, like oof, that was whatever. At this point, people were like basically sleeping in the bomb shelters out the back of their yard. They went back to this girl's house. That girl's house was gone, and her
Jeez.
parents were being dug out of the backyard because they were in the bunker, and they were fine. Like her brother and her parents were fine. And then she was like, yeah, that was the last day I saw that girl because they didn't have a house anymore. So they had been bombed. They were like, yeah, we're going to go move to the country now. And so they just left. And because, there's no social media, there's no way to contact people. It's like, yeah, I just never saw that person ever again. And that was my best friend at that period of time. And I'm like,
damn.
huh. And she's like, yeah, the V2 rockets were like so scary. Cause she's like, at least with the bombs, you can hear them whistling. With the V2s, they was just like, and you knew it was falling. And you just didn't know where it was falling because it was silent. And she was like, that was really, really scary. And you're like, huh.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
But it's just like, yeah, that's just what we lived with. That's how we lived. And it's like, just accepting those circumstances and being in them. I'm like, wow, you can adapt to that. And so when you have characters and it's like, oh, this character has changed a lot, it's like people are going to adapt to a lot, and you can have that character change. Like both of your characters, like your characters in your different stories, you can see, okay, we're in this situation. This situation has meant that for me to rise to deal with this situation, I have to change. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, that's character development of like, hey, I'm in a situation, either the situation rolls me over or I roll over it, like move with the tide, right?
That's his own little bit of progression that gives people like sort of a kick. Sort of a
Mm-hmm.
like seeing a character who people talk about like hating the naive or scared or like the realistic character. They just want to get right into it and like just hammer it in. But I've came to realize it's kind of good to have that like you know those redditors, those type of those guys online that just spew like all the typical I hate this trope, I hate this that and like those tropes, right? But they're part of our genre for a reason. And if you kind of skip past it because you want to be meta, you kind of lose the feeling of humanity.
Mm.
And recently, the past being here in Medellin actually kind of made me realize I should definitely not write for those freaks. I should remember most people are normal, but they could, like Chatfield said, given a chance and powers, maybe they could rise to the occasion. So this is the main character we see, and all the badass shit that you promised will happen eventually. Case in point, 1% Lifesteal.
Mm.
If you read that book, the main character, let's be honest, was a complete loser. Cried, panicked, all of that. Hadn't had a serious fight until I'm not gonna say anything. But people enjoyed it on Royal Road, Patreon, and on Amazon because they were like, "Oh, this guy's realistic. I could see myself in him," and I was like, "Word? That isn't meta. That isn't badass." But people could see themselves in that character, and I was like, "Huh?" And it goes back to like what you're saying is like be careful of trying to find all these little tricks or guidelines or whatever or whatever people are saying, and remember that you're still in, regardless of the genre, because we're still in that genre. You're selling a story, telling a story to people.
And it's like our job is storyteller, right?
Yeah,
We can have a story, and you can tell it to people. But if people don't resonate with it, then you're a bad storyteller. But when they do resonate with you, like I think it's why Royal Road and Patreon is such a big thing for the authors too, is we get that immediate feedback of we're writing and giving it to people, and people are like, I really like this, I don't really like this. And that's just like it. I think it goes back to that just old times of like you sit around a campfire and you tell a story and you see people lean in or go away, right? Like The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, those stories were Tolkien sharing with his kids, hey, here's a bedtime story. And it's been refined so much and it's done in such a good way because he can see with his kids, what are they excited about, what are they not excited about, how can I change this story to engage them, right? And so with Royal Road, with Patreon, you're like, I did this thing, what do you think about it? And you can like the comments and all of that, like I agree with Andrew a lot of like you start not looking at the comments for the emotional impact, you start looking at them like, okay, are you saying good or bad, why are you saying good or bad? And it's a reflection of the work, and the work is something you can change, and sometimes you can just be like, you're wrong, um and
You
or
know, if it's
sometimes you
sometimes
can
that
be
people
right.
are wrong, it's that they're looking for a different story, right? Like a lot of 1-star reviews are looking for a different thing. Okay, that's not what this story is, right? You can dislike this thing That's fine. But like that's not what this story is. Sounds like you're looking for a different story. Uh and I think that's like the separation you need to have is like figuring out which feedback is relevant to the story you're telling, which feedback is just a loud vocal minority that just want to be upset about something, and which feedback is somebody who's just looking for a different book.
So here's another thing is like when it comes to Royal Road and the style you write in, are you writing when you put out these chapters, are you doing it in a web serial style? Or are you doing it in a typical novel style? And before I got into Royal Road and RPG, I was trying to trad pub. I was trying to get into trad pub. It took me. It still takes me a while to realize the difference between trad pub and rep seal style. And two of the works that are currently helping me really hone in on that to like really get into what it takes to write a web serial which can be a successful novel even if it's kind of weird. Primal Hunter does it very well with every chapter or every 2 to 3 chapters there's this little buy-in or tie-in or or feeling of progression. um and it's using chunks of chapters where it's predictably around 2,500,000 words, anywhere from 20 to 30. I think recently his word count went up to keep up with the man, but usually the early chapters when he was going around 2,500. The next one I want to say, currently I'm reading The Wandering Inn, which is like every chapter is 10,000 to 15,000 words.
Jeez.
And like these chapters don't even usually have the complete story arc within that chapter. She writes story arcs within chapters, so sometimes it takes up to 30 to 80,000 words for us to get through a certain plot arc. But there's arc. There's a arc within those chapters that tugs at your emotions and frustrates you and be like, God damn it, Pirate Abba, why are you doing this to me? And then it's
That's
like,
like
and then you get to the end and it's like, oh, this is nice. Okay, I'll keep reading.
that's like that one Wheel of Time prologue that's like 100 pages, 150 pages. One of the later books at Wheel of Time, the prologue is like 100 to 150 pages, and you're like, oh my god, we're still here.
Yeah.
Where does the story start, people? You could kind of say that about Red Rising because like book 4 is essentially that, right? Where it's like it's so much setup for books 5 and 6, and you're like, okay, right, but cool. Or like Christopher Riccio's book 1, I think is
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of setup,
it is.
which is fair. Like, yeah, it. We are lucky, I think, in our genre to like we can sidestep a lot of the setup because we're like, oh yeah, it's this thing, and then people are like, oh, I get that because like we can just use like a little.
My hot take
snippets.
is I hate that. By the way, that's my
Yeah.
hot take. Yeah,
Yeah. You're
I
like,
hate it.
oh, I want to explain the world or like grow the world around the character.
No, I think that it's a it's a limiting trope for the expansion of the genre.
Mm.
Because like if you're a genre that insists upon itself and relies upon knowledge, then somebody who's picking it up who's not from there, as it's going more mainstream, is going to be like, what? I dislike writing things that assume that you have read other things like it, so therefore I don't need to tell it to you.
Yeah.
I agree with Andrew. Like I said, one of my works I kind of skipped past the usual setup. The one where I get to beat a God King by book 1.
Sure. Yeah.
We were just
We got no time for world building. There's leveling to be done.
Straight to beat the God King in book 1. And I realized, you know what? Probably this is why it should be done in 3 books. Maybe there's a reason why you kind of want to take your time a little bit and, smell the air in this new world and walk through the weird forest and kind of realize these fruits are different from my world. And I was like, because sometimes for me, because I'm all about the vibes, I have to do something and realize that's no bueno. No bueno. That's the wrong vibe. And then I learn and I'm
You've
like,
gone into the bad vibe place.
Yeah. We were talking about how we're still learning lessons, and Hunter learned a lesson by writing an entire book.
In a month, 150,000 words.
Yeah, he just casually was like, "Oh, let's try a book this way." Nope. Let's try a book this way. Nope.
And that was actually the first book I got professional editing on.
Great. Well, don't let that turn you off from it, okay? Like, hold on. No. Let's not learn the other lesson here. I'm just like, the one time I get an editor, I don't know.
I don't know. The base material on this is a little sus. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Andrew. I tried what you were saying, and I didn't really.
I know an author who regularly writes like 2 or 3 series a year and then bins them, and then produces one series every like 2 years.
Does the one they produce every 2 years go gangbusters?
It does really well, yeah.
Then you know what? Don't question the process, right?
Yeah.
This is like Dinneman, who writes like 5 versions of every chapter. You know what? Fair enough. Who am I to question it?
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
But again, it shows that there's so many ways to do this. Editors are useful people. Hunter may have a vendetta against them.
I don't have a vendetta. I can acknowledge I had some bad. I went.
We're having a growth moment.
Yeah,
He really isn't fueled by spite anymore.
I really not, bro. I'm in Medellin. I'm in Colombia, baby.
Hunter's gonna go out here, run around the block, and hug people, and they're gonna be like,
yeah,
God,
dude.
oh.
A whole new boy.
Have you
God,
met the
bro.
hugger of Medellin?
Hugger Mythos.
Hugger Mythos.
Watch it. I might use that for a pen name for a different time.
He starts just writing Slice of Life under
Yeah,
Hugger
just
Mythos.
cozy slice of life. So I was the Doom guy, and I got out of that life.
No, new guy.
And now I grow petunias.
Now it's all continuation series, so it's like the guy from Slayer, but it's like him tending a garden post like apocalypse. Like, I saved the universe, but look at my roses.
Yeah.
I feel like he'll be Islander vibes. So he'll be on the island collecting coconuts, building little rafts and shit, and be like fishing.
It's your Battle Mage Farmer, but you actually write the entire prequel of all of him like destroying the world.
After he was the Slayer and just murdering everybody, and he reached the God King, God whatever.
And he was
Reached
like,
the
Island
end.
time.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I really want a Mai Tai, all right?
yeah, I think I'm gonna go fishing and chill. And he's like his
It
big
just
ass
swings
sword,
around heretical fishing.
but with the Slayer.
Like comes in, just like hits the ground, big crater, and is like, "That's my lake now." And then just like calls rain in, just there we go, fish.
I imagine like put his sword down, leans against it, and then just cast a fish. And he still has his helmet on.
It'd be such a funny continuation.
Like helmet on, like the Hawaiian
vest.
shirt,
Yeah.
and then like the cargo pants, and then like Croc sandals. Like
Just starts whistling.
And then
It's like it's muffled inside his helmet. It's just like, what's really loud in here?
But the real progression is he catches a little fish and he's like, no. So he uses that fish as bait. He catches a little bigger fish, he's like, no. Then he keeps using fish until he catches a big one that yanks him off the beach and he grabs his sword and goes with it. And he's like,
Love,
that's
you caught a
fish.
whale.
Yeah. He starts like fishing in the lake that's right in front of him, then casts a little further, starts fishing in the ocean, casts a little further, starts like fishing in the next dimension, and he's like, oh, okay. Hasn't moved from sitting against the sword. He like gets the world ender and he's like, I'm gonna release you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, did I say I'm going to JordanCon?
I don't know. Are you?
Yes, I am. I'm going to JordanCon.
What's that?
I'm gonna be on panels.
Is that
Ooh.
April?
That's
is
April.
that?
That's in like
A
2 to
month.
3 weeks.
When is
Very
Jordan
good.
Con for the
It's
people
on
and the dates?
the 17th to the 19th in
17th and 19th.
Atlanta. Yeah, I hear Brandon Sanderson might be there,
King.
I've heard that. Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh shit! I might get to meet the Brando. I might get to meet Brando Sanderson." I'll be like,
Sando.
I'm gonna meet him. He was the one. His Mistborn series was the one that got me back into writing when I was bored as in Chad, Africa,
Yeah.
surrounded by
That'll
desert.
do it.
And I just like, oh, what's this book? It looks cool. And I got into the Mistborn, and it just sucked me in. And I was like, I remember when I used to read all the time instead of getting yelled at by Gunny.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a time.
Yeah, and then like after reading a bunch of books, I was like, huh, I wonder if I could write my own book. And that's when I wrote my first book. It was so f***ed up. It was f***ed up, and I put it aside. Well, I wrote before. I used to write a bunch of times. You ever heard of Gaia Online or Gaia Online?
Yeah.
Back then, there was a forums where people would write role playing, and there was a particular part that was for battle, and it was I think now we call it battle boards, but you'll write a story. You have your character fight that character. You're trying to make a story out of it. And there was a bunch of that was a rage back then. And that's how I did a lot of writing and fan fiction. And then I finally wrote my first legit book, but it was super f***ed up, so it got tossed somewhere. And I wrote more books that were super f***ed up, so they got tossed somewhere. And I joined like a beta group that would tear me down. They tore me down. I won't lie to you guys.
Vicious.
I deserved it. I literally had to stop and read a grammar book. I deserved it.
But you know what? Like, and like, it is really, really hard getting that stuff of like, go read a grammar book. Like, that's a pretty big burn. But it is like, okay, like you can take that one of two ways. One, these people are actually trying to like help me, and like if they are actually trying to help you, which is really good. Or it's like, screw these guys, I don't want to do it. And it's like, it's really how you want to take that. If you want to develop your own stuff or not. And like, dude,
Here you are, what, 15 books later, something like that?
About 26. Look where
wow,
I am
it was off
now.
by 10. All right, fair.
look where I am now. So
see, I'm not the only one off by 10.
It was a factor of 10, Chatfield.
Yeah. So you just take the plus and you just turn it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be at JordanCon this year. What else? What are you going to Lit RPG?
Are you doing Lit RPG?
I'm doing Lit RPG.
Yeah.
You doing DragonCon?
Honestly, yeah. I'm gonna show
Okay.
for DragonCon.
Let's go.
Is there anything else you're doing this year?
I don't think so. I think at that point 3 cons. Because, I got to fly over there from South America, come back, fly back.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I think I'll be good at that point. But honestly, man, yeah. I'm coming out because it's just good to be around us. People who understand you, and then we could chop it up and be like, because I know there's a bunch of people I have to talk to and tell them, yeah, you remember that idea from last year? It wasn't a good idea. It's like, yeah,
you got to go back into your little rounds. I tried it. Yeah.
It was like,
I owe you a beer. You owe me a beer. I need some shots to deal with this conversation. Yeah.
Every year you either have to do a victory lap or eat crow from everybody you've talked to, where you're like, hey guys, remember last year? Or yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And the funniest thing, and then the funniest thing is, like, despite that, I also have to look back at an idea that I thought was bad, that continues to produce money that supports me this year, and I was like, oh, funny how that works.
Yep.
Yep.
You can't pick them sometimes.
Well, and that's like how your whole career will go, right? Like, Soul Fraud is the first book I've ever written, and I have to continue marketing it, working on it, even though, I've now written 6-7 books past it. And it's like people will like give you feedback on it, and you're like, I'm such a different writer from when I wrote that book 8 years ago. Yeah.
I used to feel ashamed. I used to feel ashamed about my older books, and now I'm like, I started rereading my first book that I published as Hunter Mythos, and I was like, this is so cringy. But you have so much heart. Look at this guy. Yeah. Look at him. He doesn't know what the he's doing.
Yeah. No.
It's so
you have
cringe.
like both, right? You're like proud and also like, ooh, I would do this different now. But like, also, I did the thing.
I was like,
it is very much like looking at like someone else, because you're like, oh, look, you were so precious. Look at you.
You had such dreams.
Yeah. Maybe don't do that thing, but like, like they're so good.
Well, there was where we learned a lesson, right there.
Have you had moments? Have you had moments where it's like younger you surprised older you with an idea that you forgot about? That was actually kind of brilliant. How about that?
You're like, oh, you clever little boy.
Or you go and read it and you're like, it's actually good. Like there was a section where I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and edit that. And then I went back to go edit it, and I was like, no, I don't. That's pretty good. And you get a little surprised, but I think you have to have like distance from it to like.
Yeah, you do.
Because otherwise, you're like, there's like a hypercritical period where you're like, oh yeah, like, no, this guy knows nothing.
Everything I do must be perfect, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
that's so hard though.
It is, dude.
Like how do you find the moments where you're like, are you too critical? Are you too relaxed? Are you like, do you need a gap?
That's the thing.
Or do you need to, stay on it? Like, man,
I think that's the thing.
That's the thing.
I think
right?
that's it.
That's the thing, right?
I think that's actually like a big part of why we are lucky as hell to have this like kind of community of people that we do. Because then you can go to someone and be like, yo, I'm thinking of this. And someone can give you like, they think it's like offhanded advice, but it hits exactly where you need it to hit. And you're like, awesome. And then you can go and do it because, you can go like, oh, I need something from Gritty Realism. Go talk to Jez and be like, hey, this thing, does this make sense? And he'll be like, yes or no. And then you can just get over the in between trying to make a decision to like export it to someone else, which damn, we are lucky. Like having been in other genres, like we are so lucky that we have like so many authors and people that we can just be like, yo, I'm going to go chat on Saturday about random stuff, or, hey, I got this thing that I need to like check with you. What do you think? And it's like, there you go.
Though I have to admit, sometimes you gotta be careful with the advice you take here and there. It can lead you astray. It can lead you astray. And then, me, I like to dive. I don't even check for the rocks. I just jump in, see what's going on there, like. Just,
you would never, Hunter.
Just
never.
Dive in and just look around and be like, oh, there's some sharks in the water. I probably should have checked a little bit.
Wrote one book where he got to level 100. Oh.
Yeah, his face is like, God!
It's actually quite shallow.
There's barely water.
It's actually more of a puddle.
Yeah. Face hurts. My
leg.
My ankle is where my throat used to be.
It's not going well.
Help, please. Yeah. All right. We should
probably wrap this up.
Oh, is it 2 hours already?
We're 2 hours and 15, bro. We are in it.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, it's been a pleasure having you. Where can people find you if they want to find you?
Oh, look me up on Amazon. You got Hunter Mythos there. Patreon, not so much, because I turned that off, boy. I'm on break. But just look up Hunter Mythos. You'll find me on Google. Really simple, really easy to remember. It rolls off the tongue. There was actually this Reddit post about how like a lot of our RPG author names are really weird, and I was reading through that, and I saw somebody say, "Hey, like Hunter Mythos is a weird name," and somebody said like, "It's not that weird. It's kind of memorable. It works." I just
And
had
that's
like,
on
yes,
branding.
Yes, yes, just
That's on
weird
branding.
enough, but not too weird where it's memorable. Very simple.
Yeah, so find you on Google, and then you're going to be at Dragon Con, Liter RPG Con, and Jordan Con. Dude, that's a lot of Atlanta. Yeah.
That's all Atlanta. No, except for Denver.
Yeah, Denver.
Yeah. Two Atlanta, one Denver. All right.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
been a pleasure.
Works.
Thanks for joining us, Hunter.
No, thanks for having me on, man. We had a lot of fun.
We'll see you in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.
Peace.